Today. If you hear the dog barking, he barks when my boy cries. So anyway, hope everyone's doing well today. Make sure you guys are turning on your notifications. Very important because a lot of you keep missing videos and I'm tired of making videos and people complaining that I didn't know that you made this. Turn on your notifications or at least interact with the video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about viral collection of clips, if you will, of the National Guard essentially possibly throwing migrants on the ground, or at least known issues of the National Guard dealing with migrants on the border. So if you are unaware, and let me know if the stream is coming off okay, if you're watching this live, let me know if there's any lag. In case you guys are unaware, right now the National Guard, Texas National Guard, has decided to essentially take over a park in Eagle Pass, Texas. And essentially what Texas is saying is that they do not want any federal agents now intervening with this specific mission with the Texas border. And essentially the Texas National Guard has decided to take over a park. I think it's called Shelby Park. Yeah, Shelby Park. And state agents are taking care of the job. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Essentially, again, Texas is saying that the federal government, Biden, is not taking the threat serious enough on the border. And so ever since the National Guard decided to capture Shelby Park, there's been clips coming out that have been a little concerning for some, but this is the reality of what's happening on the border. And I've been talking about the border for a long time. And so make sure you guys are liking the stream as well if you're watching this live, and that helps out a lot. So here we go. I'm going to play the clips through, and then I'll let you guys judge. I'm not here to sway your opinion either way, but this is essentially, these are the quote-unquote viral clips that are circulating. So let's go ahead and play it through. And this is clip number 1. Here we go. That is clip number 1, and then we'll go back and actually go through it together because I just want you guys to see it unhindered. And then here's the clip that actually got me to sort of make this video, where somebody had already mentioned that CNN is trying to make it look way worse than it is. Yes, I do. Someone said, has anyone told you look like Zelensky since the very beginning of the Ukrainian conflict? Here is the clip that a lot of people were pointing at and saying that the National Guard, they were tossing migrants on the ground, but I'll let you decide. To me, it looks rather muddy. So here you go. There's a lot of camera trickery. Okay, so obviously this is extremely chaotic, unfortunately, and hello everybody, thank you for being here. Again, make sure you're liking the stream and turn on your dang notifications. I'm tired of responding to comments being like, I didn't see you made this video. Okay, so again, in context, what's happening right now is that the National Guard has decided, as in like the government, state government of Texas, to take over a park called Shelby Park in Eagle Pass. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, Eagle Pass is the area when Elon Musk decided to do a border tour to see how bad it was at the border, which it is really bad. And while he was doing his interview, all of a sudden migrants started running across into the United States. Eagle Pass is known to be the worst area for the United States to try and contain migrants. This is because it's really easy to get through Eagle Pass. The river is only ankle deep, so migrants think, okay, let me try to run into Eagle Pass, and the current administration essentially is like, once you make into the United States, you're pretty much good to go. A lot of migrants are being sent up to Chicago, New York City, and stuff like that. So Yeah, make sure you do like the live stream. And I see 100 of you are in here. Please like the stream. And leave your comments and opinions. I like to read them. So, okay, let's look at the first clip. And as a combat engineer, this is the very first thing that came to my mind. I will never be able to not look at any sort of razor wire or C-wire, as it's called. And I actually managed to find a picture of what it looks like, how they're operating out there. So keep in mind, the migrants who are trying to get into Shelby Park, they're trying to get through all of this. Now, obviously, they have managed to create... Can I zoom in? Nah. Some sort of breach of entry. But the reason why you would ever typically make this as a combat engineer is for vehicles and like tanks. So if you've watched my tank videos, you know that this is for tanks. And so, again, keep in mind, this is what the migrants are trying to get through. This is some pretty gnarly and nasty stuff for somebody to get through. Now, I don't know if this is the exact quote-unquote geolocation, but it does give you some insight of the parameters that engineers are doing out there, because this is a combat engineer thing. And I can tell that it was decently constructed based off of the wiring going through the middle coils. Very nerdy stuff. So let's go ahead and look at this video here. Okay, so as you can see, there is a lot of mass confusion right now. And like this lady right here where my cursor is like, looks like they're confused. Like, why are you not letting us through? And you'll notice that there are some riot shields. When I was doing some research, according to Texas, the main reason why they are employing the National Guard is not only because the government of Texas is fed up with the federal government. It was supposed to be a deterrent to essentially, hopefully, persuade migrants from staying away from the border. And so again, the thinking was, you're coming up to the border, you see some guys with riot shields, you see some guys in full kit, and that's supposed to keep you away. But look, these migrants are so desperate, I don't think they care either way. They're coming from a country where this is a normal thing to have a military presence around them. And so, I'm not saying this is backfiring, but what I am saying is it does look like Texas is willing to take a way more aggressive approach to the entire situation at the border. Now, this is the part where people were confused, for sure. Like, some migrants were being let through. And again, remember, some migrants do have legal paperwork, but why would you go in through here? So, like, these two people made it through. And again, it's very hard to find actual sources to say what's going on. From my understanding, and maybe somebody else will know better, these guys are still getting arrested if you came in through this portal of entry, because Texas, again now, is enforcing the law where if you come into the state illegally, you can be detained and arrested. So that is currently what's going on. Again, the main complaint is that the federal government was not obtaining the law of if you come into the country illegally, you get arrested and you get sent back. That wasn't happening, and that's why Texas says, hey, you came into our state, and the state local officials are taking care of you. Something else I am noticing, again, this is straight from military training. I think they are going to allow all of these people to come through only to rearrest them, because they don't want a bunch of people all running in one time. If you look at a lot of the border crossing, maybe there is a picture in here. No, I guess not. Whenever you look at a lot of the border crossing chaos, they all come in droves. When I say they, I mean the migrants are coming in like through 50 people or hundreds of people. And so that's very hard to arrest all these guys. So it looks like the U.S. military is at least trying to create some sort of organized chaos where you can arrest people in groups of 2 or 1. And hey, thank you for the $2 donation. Been a while since I distracted you. You're welcome. Yes, it is really distracting over here because I'm trying to read your comments. Thank you guys. And again, you don't have to always support me monetarily. You can also support just by liking the stream or by turning on notifications. It's insane how much it helps. So thank you again. So again, these are just my observations being a former combat engineer and also having friends who were deployed to the border already. Again, what I want to point out is that the narrative was that the U.S. military was caught throwing migrants on the ground. I'm trying not to be biased. I will always be super critical of the U.S. military mission if they go against morals and standards of the American people. One thing I do find interesting here is that they're not helping her up. Maybe they were told not to touch them? Again, this looks to be organized chaos is what it is, and I think it's just trying to make sure they are getting people through a portal of entry with ease. Again, what I find interesting as well upon observation is the use of riot shields. The media loves to take riot shields and turn it into something way more spectacular than it is, or something that's way more aggressive, but honestly, it's not. Yeah, this video started circulating back midweek, so January 13th. I'm only bringing this video up is because this is still a relevant story. The National Guard has still taken over Shelby Park. This is nothing new. And again, this video. Now, something else I noticed here. The soldiers now have, it looks like they have actual loaded rifles. For a lot of soldiers, the protocol was, when they were on the border, was that they were not allowed to have actual rifles, but they were only allowed to have pistols. Obviously, your SOPs or standard operating procedures are different throughout the border. But again, I think this is telling, and it goes to show that the National Guard in Texas wants to show more of a presence, to be like, look, we now have rifles. We're not here to be aggressive, but we are here to be a deterrent. So I think that is something also to pay attention to. Not that they do want to use those rifles, but they are there. Again, when you look historically speaking at this border mission, a lot of the soldiers actually were not fully equipped. Again, and it does look like they are sending people through this portal, just like 1 or 2 at a time. And this is the last thing I do want to point out. Texas right now is just in a constant legal battle right now with the United States. If you've been following this channel or again any border crossing news, you may remember that these floating buoy barriers were essentially set in the Rio Grande, and the federal government said we never authorized this, and Texas said you don't have to authorize anything because we're trying to protect our own borders. It turns out in the legal battle that the court is willing to essentially allow for these floating barriers to be set in the Rio Grande. And so look, take it as you will. I'm not here to sway your opinions, but what I am trying to show you is that it looks like Texas is almost paving a way to show how a governor can utilize their National Guard, or sort of be on the line of, you know, ultimately the U.S. military is the authority of the National Guard, but the governor can push the limit on how he feels fit to use his National Guard. He says, look, I'm trying to defend my own people, but the federal government is not looking out for my people. So it's almost like a puppet game of who's willing to use the National Guard more, here or there, more aggressive, not as aggressive. So we will see what happens. I don't know what the actual jurisdiction is or the legality of using your National Guard to push away federal border agents. This is currently what's happening right now. But again, like these clips circulating of the National Guard, I don't find this to be anything crazy. All it says to me is that this was a very muddy day and that the National Guard is just trying to let people in, and then essentially they're just arresting them instead of just letting them come into the country. So yeah. That is the story. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I love doing these live streams. It's easier for me to interact with you guys. I'm going to post this video. Make sure you guys send your comments and opinions on the posted video. Make sure you guys turn on your dang notifications. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, hope you guys learned something. And I really am curious to see what your opinions are. Do you think they're being too aggressive, not aggressive? Let me know what you guys think. But this is the story. And we'll see you guys later. Thank you. Go check out the posted video.